The Arizona Cardinals have a ton invested in their skill position group. How about 4th overall from the 2024 draft, Marvin Harrison Jr., the second highest paid tight end in NFL history, and running back James Conner. So where do they stack up against the rest of the league's playmakers, Johnny Venerable?
Plus, do the Arizona Cardinals have the best tight end room in the NFL? We're talking that and more. It's PHNX Cardinals, and it starts now. Hey, welcome in. Live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. The PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier #1 Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Bo Brock. It's the off season. Please help us. Noah Man behind the mic. Everybody drop a like on your Premier Cards podcast. July 9th, 2025. How we living, Bo Brock?
We are living well. I mean, we'd living better, right? If it was training camp and we had actual real things to talk about. But look, we do have real things to talk about. Some great topics on hand today, like where the Cardinals skill players stack up. Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, James Conner. Seems like it's pretty good. What does ESPN think? We'll get into it. John, what's up? I saw Shaft checking in early saying, "What's up, Bird Gang? Are you ready for some football?" Hell, yes, we are. Yes, we are, Shaft. You speak for everybody. Luis Perez, I love it. Mike, I will say hello to you despite what you said yesterday. Sag, love it. How we doing? Jacob, Terry Cleary, Ozzy, the entire gang is here ready to talk some ball, including Steve. And I'll just put a couple others in here. Unbelievable. Han shot first. What's going on?
I am very much into everybody in the chat. I'll tell you what I'm not into. I'm jealous of, frankly. It's that meme. I see what you've done, Lord, for them, and I want it for myself. I see our friends at PHNX Wildcats podcast, PHNX Sun Devils. Check it out. They've got Sam Levitt and Noah Vita and head coaches on their podcast, and it's just like, give me that. I want that for my. Where's K1? Where's Jonathan Gannon? Come on, be on our show right now. Even though you're probably doing your own thing, you deserve it. But I'm jealous of those guys. Go check out their podcasts; they're great. But I want that for me. Damn it.
They got the you got the Suns talking about stretching and waving, all these things. They have all these interesting topics, and we're just kind of taking inventory here right before a pivotal 2025 season for the Arizona Cardinals, which is in year 3 of Gannon and Monty Ossenfort. A pivotal year for the quarterback, Kyler Murray, and who's he have to throw to? Well, quite a few guys, including McBride, and we'll get into the tight end room as we continue our position preview. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this team because this team is good. Whether or not ESPN or anybody else believes that, we know it to be true. And again, 2 years ago, we were looking at this roster, and it's like, good hell, what's going to happen? There was also a ranking done by Adam Rank, NFL Network, that we have to talk about in terms of going game by game for the Arizona Cardinals. But we start with ESPN, frenemy of the show, worldwide leader in novice takes, unless you're Mina Kimes or Dan Orlovsky, which are firm friends of this program. ESPN, right before yesterday's show, released their top 32 ranked playmaking units in the NFL, skilled players, if you will. So this does not, I believe, include quarterbacks. So we're talking a bevy of running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. And it's not just your starters. It is the entirety, Bo, of your skilled position group. So teams that go deep at running back, like the Detroit Lions, they've got 2 starters. They get credit for that. Congratulations, producer Noah. Bill Barnwell historically has not given the Cardinals much love. He's a good writer for ESPN. And here's what I'll say. I am not disappointed with where the Cardinals are ranked, okay? Like, given the fact that Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't have the year everybody hoped, but still productive, and given that James Conner is almost 30 years old, like, I didn't expect the Cardinals to be top 5 to 7, because there's a lot of flipping loaded teams across the NFL landscape. What I'm disappointed by are the teams that are ranked ahead of them, specifically Bo in the NFC West.
And I think that's a fair issue to take up with Bill Barnwell, who used to be like a big anti-Keim stuff. Like every offseason, he would look at what Keim did and he'd be like, I don't get this. And like that kind of, as we lived in it, we wanted to think that the Cardinals, could persevere and thought the best of the moves, even though the worst usually followed. And Barnwell was just, I think he's a bright football mind. I appreciate his analysis, but I think that's fair. Like when the Cardinals where they're ranked, it's not something I'm going to, die on a hill for.
Yeah.
I think when you look at the collection of players that they have, it should be better, right? And I think us critically can say, well, why not? Why aren't they being perceived from a national analyst in a kind of a higher regard? So there's a couple there, but I do agree with you. Like the biggest thing that sticks with me is, like really, like you see this team being this high and you believe this much in this group of players, and you can kind of poke holes into it pretty easily.
Let's talk about where the Cardinals are ranked first before we get into the slop of the rest of the group, which it is, especially a certain team out in Santa Clara. Cardinals ranked 15th. If we can see it, Noah, man. Last year, they were ranked 21st, and the year before, they were 30th. Okay? So they've made improvements. They have added MHJ. James Conner's just done it every single year. And then Trey McBride's, grown to superstardom. Okay? So I'll paraphrase. It's, each year it's tempting to treat players regarded as elite prospects as something special beyond. And again, sometimes they're Brock Bowers, others, they have rookie years like Marvin Harrison Jr., who was supposed to be the clear guy in his draft class before finishing 5th in receiving yards, blah, blah, blah. And he talks about Fitzgerald, and he talks about growth. And he says if Marv does get it going, the Cardinals should have a nice big 3. McBride is everything you want as a tight end to do beyond catch touchdowns, a trick that should turn sooner rather than later. Talks about James Conner being healthy and productive. But then he adds there's a massive drop-off for the rest of the team. Michael Wilson runs a ton of routes, which undercuts his 548 receiving yards. Greg Dortch was 68th in the NFL last year. Trey Benson, who seemed like he might turn into Conner's long-term replacement, had just 291 rushing yards in a limited role. There's growth potential for a young group of playmakers here. So, again, I don't discredit a lot of what he said. Had Marv had Malik Neighbors' rookie season, they're a top 10 team, right? Yeah. I don't think you could ask any more of James Conner or Trey McBride. Sans like to knock Trey McBride for receiving touchdowns is a joke, and I don't think that's what he was doing. But then, like, you look at the situation at receiver beyond Marv, and people are skeptical of Dortch and Michael Wilson and Zay Jones. And then running back, I'm not buying because Trey Benson had a yards per clip carry. DeMercado, like the Cardinals could run the ball with anybody. They've become, in a way, a lot of what Kyle Shanahan's offense in San Francisco does. I think they can produce with any running back, but James just gives them that much more. So your thoughts on Barnwell's breakdown, which it's fine. I have on the surface level, I have no issue with it.
Beyond like the picking at Marvin Harrison Jr., you can absolutely do that. Trey McBride and James Conner, I think, are undeniable.
Yeah.
You really have to kind of find ways to discount their production, like you mentioned, the touchdowns, or with James Conner's case, you want to look at his age, you want to look at, his past. But the reality is this guy has had back-to-back seasons on the ground alone, over 1,000 yards, and always productive when it means the most around the goal line. He's just a touchdown scoring running back consistently. And then like you get past the 3-headed monster, but that should be enough. Like when it's James Conner, Trey McBride, Marvin Harrison Jr., that should stack up against really any trio in the league. And are they handicapped by their play calling? Well, I think you can certainly make that case for Marvin Harrison Jr. But like when you're putting together this criteria and it slides as much as it does, that's where I'm going to kind of take issue with it, because I think that 3-headed monster should be a lot higher than they're getting credit for at 15th, like just inside the top half of the league.
Again, I don't discredit anything he wrote. if Michael Wilson had the year we expected, like I thought 700-800 yards, but that's a byproduct of the passing game last year. I'm not going to sit here and rip Marvin and Michael Wilson.
I'm not either. I'm not going to look and say, Bill Barnwell, are you unaware of Elijah Higgins' game? Or do you not know that we've got a lot of confidence in Michael Wilson, even though like you have to look beyond the statistics? And I don't expect somebody who's covering the league overall to notice that. I mean, it's going to be important for Petzing and Kyler and this offense to kind of force the issue with that. But when you just look at like the three guys there, and I know you mentioned that it's running backs, it's tight ends, it's wide receivers, the collection of the group across the board. And then you're like, okay, well, let me just look and see who's ahead of it. Immediately, you see the Washington Commanders and you're like, nah, now hold on a bit. Like if we're taking Jaden Daniels out of this conversation, then like the playmakers as far as the running back room in Washington, it's not close as far as James and Trey Benson versus Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler and Zach Ertz versus Trey McBride. And then like the separation between Terry McLaurin and Marvin Harrison Jr. is not that large. So like immediately I'm like, Cardinals have a better group than the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels did a great job in elevating that group. And so, credit to Cliff Kingsbury, who used to be, we used to rake across the coals of our show. But like, if you're just going based off of what your criteria you have in place, like you're immediately off.
How about Kansas City at 12? I mean, like Isaiah Pacheco, not available. Rashid Rice, not available. Right. Hollywood Brown is your third receiver. Travis Kelce, old. But again, like I expected those because of the biases of ESPN. The most egregious bias comes from the fourth-ranked team, the San Francisco 49ers, which is indefensible to me. It's indefensible, and it negates everything on here. Now, he had the Niners 1-1 in 2023, 2024. So maybe he thought, well, if I drop them too far, then I have egg on my face. No, Bill. Can you like read a depth chart, my man? The depth chart is dramatically different. They were gutted. He starts off the Niners rankings by saying Brandon Ayuk will be returning from a torn ACL. Yeah, like around Thanksgiving, my guy. Not tomorrow, not week 1. It's like he tore his ACL and his MCL. His knee exploded. Nobody expects him.
And he hates his team.
Nobody, he'll be back. You got stock in San Francisco, Bill? It's bordering on unprofessional to craft a narrative. This is supposed to be an objective article, and this is coming off as unprofessional. Then it's got Christian McCaffrey was limited last year to 4 games because of Achilles and knee injuries. But then his next sentence is
MBD.
He's been brilliant and healthy for his years prior with San Francisco.
Right.
Okay. What about now? His legs are not the same. He is old. He is washed, as the chat said. He was hurt in Carolina. He was healthy and brilliant. Now he's not. Welcome to the NFL, where Todd Gurley could have been the MVP, and then they had to eat his contract in LA. So to sit here and say he starts off the Niners preview with blurbs about McCaffrey and Ayuk, and then Deebo Samuel, he gives a bump to Washington because of Deebo. Well, Deebo's not on San Francisco anymore. It literally, and then there's a blurb about Ricky Pearsall at the end, which he's an afterthought. So you are rolling with Kittle, Juwan Jennings, and Ricky Pearsall, and you are putting them 4th in the NFL. That's embarrassing. I would be embarrassed by that take. But you are playing to that base, and you're too worried about dropping them too far. Like, I don't think the Niners are going to be like some joke and they can't score this year. But to suggest they have the 4th best skilled room, excuse me as I spit, in the NFL is a joke, is a laughing stock. I would be embarrassed by that.
Yeah. No, I mean, he should be. To qualify it and talk about like, Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey, like the expectation is for them to be in the lineup consistently. I'm not talking about, and he even mentioned this 17 games a season. That's just unrealistic. It's very unrealistic. It's about as unrealistic as you get. You have to kind of put that on hold. But to have a 29-year-old running back, say he's brilliant, but then also acknowledge he's had knee and Achilles issues.
You're done.
How often do you come back from that in this league? How often?
Bo, he's 20. He's 29.
I know, man. It's one of the more like profound, like wild things that continues to happen throughout this NFL offseason. You got fantasy football experts who are like buyer beware as far as Christian McCaffrey. And then you have on the other side of this thing, people saying, guzzle the Niners, this just eat them up. This is going to be a team that's rebounding in 2025. And this is part of the propaganda. I don't know what the reluctance was. You could probably spend me and I'd still take issue if they were like 11 or 12.
Yeah. 4th overall is one of the biggest. I mean, like, I'm trying to add up. McCaffrey had 340 touches 2 years ago before the playoffs. The year before that, it was just as many. So you're talking about conservatively, he's had in the last 2 years and however many games he's played, over 1,000 touches. And now he's got leg problems. And people are like, he'll be fine. He'll be back.
Right.
You guys saw those training camp or offseason highlights of him? He looks old and slow. That video that went viral, he looks just like a guy. Just a guy, a jag. Like, James Conner is a power back. His game has aged well. He's 29. When your game is based off of elusiveness and change of direction and you're slow and your legs don't work, 29 at running back when you've had 1,000 touches in 2.5 years, that's a death sentence. I'm sorry. Yep. And then the fact that we believe on this show, there's a good chance Ayuk will never play for the Niners again. And then you got a limited quarterback. Like, what? It's not like they've got Josh Allen that can elevate that group.
Right.
That is it's an embarrassing article. I almost led the show. We almost led the show with it yesterday. But again, like, you can nitpick. Like, here's the rest of the list. Eagles 1, no issue. Lions 2, no issue. Bengals 3, I don't have an issue with that, even though running back's fine. Rams 5th is probably a little rich, but they added Devontae Adams, whatever.
And Ferguson, your boy Ferguson.
Turd Ferguson. Vikings at 6, no issue. Tampa at 7, they got a good group. It's older. Ravens at 8. Derrick Henry and Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely and Zay Flowers is fine. Falcons at 9, though. Falcons with BJ and Drake London.
There's a lot of Drake London love going on around here that I'm starting to see it kind of the luster that's wearing off. I'm like, guys, he's a fine receiver, but let's not make him into something he's not, as like this top 5, top 10 guy.
He's a good number 1 receiver on an average team. He's not Chase or Justin Jefferson. Dolphins at 10, which is fine. I mean, I have no issue with that. Cowboys at 11 they have no running back. They're talking about trading for a running back. Their tight ends are average. They've got CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, which
they're carrying a tremendous amount of that weight.
Yeah. And then we mentioned Kansas City 12, Washington 13, and Houston with a bunch of injured old guys. They have Christian Kirk. I probably put Houston above some of these teams. If Diggs, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Christian Kirk are like viable, that's a good unit. So who knows? It was a bad article. And it's not coincidentally because of his takes on the Cardinals. Like, you can repurpose some stuff. Like, if we go beyond the Cardinals ranks, like not Indianapolis, like I like the Packers group a lot more than what I saw from some of those groups down there. Hell, I like the Jaguars group a lot more than some of these other teams.
Yeah. I mean, Josh Jacobs, Tucker Kraft, you've got you add Matthew Golden to already kind of like, there's no like clear cut number 1, but
Jaden Reed's good.
Yeah, decent receiving core. I mean, because a lot of those are just being carried by 1 or 2 guys.
Right.
I think that's when you're going to base it and say, hey, we're looking at the whole collective group, but then just make a case for, 1 or 2 guys. And I just think that the Cardinals were done dirty by this list. And you're right. The biggest problem here is who ranks ahead of them more so than where the Cardinals rank down the list.
I hope that obviously we're in the last months of the Cardinals being overwhelmingly disrespected by the national media, but I also hope we're in the final days of the overrated tenure of the San Francisco 49ers based on their accomplishments of years prior.
You've seen their cupcake schedule. I mean, They're playing the easiest schedule in the NFL.
I need some of those teams to step the F up like that. We're going to have a show before the regular season, and we're just going to need to go through the Niners schedule game by game, and we need to talk ourselves into the Browns and I need some of these teams to just will themselves to victory. Because here's what I'll say. Kyle Shanahan can lose to bad teams. He does it all the time. We need some of these teams to step up. Seahawks week 1, I'm looking at you. Saints week 2, that could be tough. Jags week 4, Rams week 5, Bucks, Falcons, Texans. Yeah. Okay. Giants, let's go. Come on, Russ. Cook one last time. Carolina, Browns, Titans, Colts, Bears.
This stinks of desperation. When you utter the words, come on, Russ. Come on, Russell.
Let me read you the last 5 games of their schedule. Panthers, Browns, Titans, Colts, Bears. Oh, and then the Seahawks. So last 6 games.
Easy street. Yeah.
That's their schedule for real?
Carolina, Cleveland, bye week. They're going to be tuckered out of beating the holy hell out of the Panthers and the Browns. So they'll get a bye week late in the season.
Somebody step up.
And then they take on the bells of the AFC South in Tennessee and Indy, and then take on Chicago and Seattle.
Wow.
The NFC West as a group, Gannon and Old McDonald and McVay, everybody needs to get together and just say, we can put Kyle Shanahan's tenure in the dirt if we just handle our this year. Can they somehow go 0-6 in the NFC West?
Yeah.
Can we shut them out in the division and nut job Jed York loses his mind and then buys out Shanahan and we're all in a good spot? They collectively, for the greater good, we all need to be rooting for the rest of the NFC West to beat the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah. The unfortunate thing is it's like they're going to navigate this schedule and it's going to be like Jake Paul supporters and like, look, he beat a 50-year-old Mike Tyson. Mm-hmm. He put it on old 50-year-old Mike Tyson. He also took on a UFC fighter in boxing. Like that's their schedule. They're just taking on people out of their realm, out of their comfort zone. They're taking on the Cleveland Browns that are just like, we're punting on 2025. Like everybody knows that. We've got 15 quarterbacks in our room, but not one that can actually play and be a serviceable signal caller. So it's for the Niners, like it's going to be for us Niner haters. I think it's just going to be one of those seasons where we have to just, at least throughout the regular season before, God forbid they make the playoffs with this schedule, where people are going to buy right into it. Oh, Shanahan, coach him up, and Purdy can win against New Orleans and Tennessee and get it done against this last place schedule.
Enough's enough, guys. Come on. Somebody's take a stand. We're taking a stand pro Kyler Murray, as we normally are on this podcast. Word is one prominent NFL personality, I guess, have Kyler Murray ranked, and why the numbers may surprise you. That and more. It's PHNX Cardinals. Fired up to have everybody on the show today. Fired up to talk Shady Rays. I just got back from jet setting the coast with my family. We went to Maui, had a great time. Rep my Shady Rays. Happy to report, unlike last year, I did not lose them. But if I had, I would get them back, no cost, guaranteed. And if you haven't checked out our friends at Shady Rays, they're a game changer. These sunglasses, they're made for real life. Looking good, exercise and durable, the beach. And they're not stupidly expensive, right? You can go and get a great pair right now for under $40. Plus, we're going to save you 35% off with the bonus code. You guessed it, PHNX. Again, I wear my sunglasses constantly when I drive, hikes, concerts, on a boat. I'm on a boat with my Shady Rays. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. Again, try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Shady Rays. Get them now.
Hawaiian Coast is gorgeous, Johnny. Absolutely is. This is gorgeous when you look at your bank account and you just got a lot of money in there, because with Monarch money, you're making money moves, as we say around here. Monty Awesomeforth knows how to really kind of get the checks and balances, especially that salary cap. But let's take the Cardinal salary cap and apply it to your money. You're not just going to be earning, you're going to be building wealth with Monarch money. It's unbelievable what they can do for you. Take advantage of what's going on. Our partnership with Monarch Money benefits you. You can use the code PHNX at monarchmoney.com and get 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com. And it's going to help start managing your finances and build that life you actually want. Monarch Money makes managing money simple and even easy for busy lives out there. So you don't just kind of get lost. You look at your finances and say, where the hell did my money go? It's not going to happen with Monarch Money. They're going to keep you and get you to building wealth. Go use that code PHNX at monarchmoney.com in your browser. Get half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year with monarchmoney.com, code PHNX. Make those money moves with Monarch Money.
Big thanks to everybody that's watching live right now. Big thanks to all of our friends subscribing and are a diehard with the PHNX daily newsletter from our guy Patrick. He is doing a phenomenal job. Check it out right now. Go phnx.com/newsletter. It's completely free every day in your inbox at 6 a.m. Again, we appreciate you, our guy Pat, and appreciate all of our diehards. $36 a month. Cannot beat it. Can you beat Kyler Murray and these statistics from last year? Well, on the surface level, he would probably say he can do better. But how about frenemy of the show, Warren Sharp, who sometimes says the wrong thing, but sometimes he makes a lot of sense. Let's see. Warren Sharp had this to say about Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray had his best completion rate since 2021 and 2024, career high 48% success rate, played in every game, as we know, since 2020. The last 3 years has completed 44% of his downhill throws plus 10 yards or more. That's 29th in the NFL. That has to get better. And completed just 31% of throws, 20 yards downfield, 30 in the NFL. That has to get better as well. Only 1.4% of attempts in the fourth quarter scored a TD. That's the worst of the NFL QB's career low design runs a game last year at 1.5. Now, Kyler Murray, he totals on our show that he wants to run more. He wants to run more in 2025. But Warren Sharp actually had the Arizona Cardinals franchise quarterback in his A tier.
Yeah.
So he had, I believe, Kyler Murray right at 10th roughly in the NFL for his quarterback rankings. And that's what spurred this breakdown here. And again, it's not a perfect breakdown. It's not overly glowing, but he has Kyler Murray ahead of the likes of Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, Jordan Love, Tua, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, CJ Stroud, Bo Nix. So again, like he believes in Kyler Murray as a franchise quarterback, but still thinks there's some room to get better in 2025.
Yeah, you wish this was like half the tweet, right? Because the lower half of this is damning, right? 44% of his throws over 10 yards or more downfield, 29th in the NFL. You know, the 30th in the NFL as far as just 31% of his throws 20 yards downfield. And the 1.4% of attempts in the fourth quarter scored a TD, which was dead last. You went through those numbers and then those design runs where you hope it changes. It's like he did that despite all of that, the second half of this tweet where there was a lot of good on the higher half of it. But this is encouraging. You know, is he hindered by his offense? Is he hindered by the play calling? Can he get, like, you hope he doesn't go, there's really one direction he can go as far as some of those stats, but you kind of got to open it up for Kyler Murray. And I think that I saw some people jumping in the chat about running it back on offense and not making any additions offensively, to where they're leaning on continuity. They're leaning on chemistry. And with that, you are going to have to open up the playbook downfield, I think, in order to kind of write some of these things. But, he's in the A tier, which is, I think, third tier for how Sharp has it set up. He's got the S tier, which is Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels. He's got the A+ tier, which is Mahomes and Burrow. And then Kyler residing with Purdy and Prescott, Drake May, and Justin Fields. And kind of like you go through that and it's an emotional roller coaster and you're like, oh, good, bad, good. Yeah, it's just it's strange company to keep. And one of the things I hope for this organization, I hope for Kyler Murray, that he can separate himself from kind of these enigmas of quarterbacks that he's coupled with here. Like Purdy, like our criticism, he can't do it without the Avengers, and Dak Prescott, like, the numbers look good. They're very cosmetic, but can he win the big game? Like, you hope Kyler Murray can kind of separate himself from this pack, even though I think it's decent when you look at it, compared to the rest of the league. Like you said, he's ahead of some guys that are perceived as very good quarterbacks in this league.
Yeah, to me, I think highlights a lot of what we talk about here on a daily basis where he played all 17 games. He is productive, right? He has room to grow, but his talent is still immense to the point where, like, I think you and I would take him on any given Sunday against Baker Mayfield at his best, right? Whereas Baker Mayfield has shown to be immobile and erratic, but Baker Mayfield has been coached up, has been bought into Tampa, has elite weapons, and plays in a dog water division. And he's played better than Kyler Murray. But like there wasn't a time before his renaissance in Tampa where anybody would ever say that Kyler Murray wasn't a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield. So it is so funny. We look at all these lists and these rankings and really the Cardinals win-loss projection. And it's like, how much of it gets fixed with the deep passing game and the production of Marv? I think it's like the elixir for the entire team. Like the defense is going to be better, but is the stuff on defensively window dressing? It's not, but sometimes it feels like it is. Like, yeah, they can have a takeaway more a game. They can have a sack or two more a game, and they're going to be more productive. And I think it's going to impact their bottom win-loss total, no doubt about it. But like,
Yeah,
you and I are going to sit here, and if it's like mid-November and this team is underachieving, is it going to be because of this passing game again? And if this team is underachieving, I'm pointing to that unit because really they have shown you a template the last 2 years. They can run the football, they can pass protect, they overachieve defensively. They're not regressing in that unit. The biggest box to check has to do with the quarterback, the coordinator, and the wide receiver. And if that can come together, it literally takes care of everything. It takes care of the mantra that Marvin Harrison Jr. isn't the best wide receiver in his class and was overdrafted. It takes care of the Kyler Murray conversation. It takes care of Gannon and everybody gets extended, right? They just have to follow through with that. Isn't that nuts that it feels like this is the Band-Aid to cure all for this team?
It's strange. It seems simple. And I think that's where the frustration is, right? It's like, just drive the ball downfield, right? And like, I mean, across all levels of football, sometimes that's like the plea, and sometimes it's tough to do it. I don't know if it's just like a scheme thing or if it's a play calling within the game issue, but it's something that needs to be figured out. Now, if I'm looking at this tier maker, and you kind of buy into it as the gospel as far as quarterback rankings, which I should say probably take it more as a grain of salt as we've outlined Warren Sharp and his analysis. But like, if you look at it, guys that are either on par with Kyler Murray in this list or ahead of him, the Cardinals face Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy twice. That's it. The rest of the quarterbacks Warren Sharp has on the Cardinals schedule below, and Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, Matthew Stafford, CJ Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young, Cam Ward, Sam Darnold. You've got whoever, for God forbid, is the Colts quarterback. They're on the F tier. You've got whoever, God forbid, is the Saints quarterback, F tier as well. So it's if you're looking at it from that perspective, Kyler Murray should give the Cardinals significant quarterback edge throughout next season.
The problem is that most people, not Warren Sharp, put Kyler Murray amongst those quarterbacks you just named or below.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of lumped into a category of B to B minus guys to C plus guys, right? And here's the issue. The root cause of this is that there are elite quarterbacks in this league. Allen, Burrow, Jackson, Mahomes. I would put Jalen Hurts in that category right now. And then probably Jaden Daniels, coincidentally. That's a group of about 5 to 6 guys. And then there's a dogfight from like 7 to like 20th. And any given Sunday, they can rotate. And who's going to be the next one to kind of take that baton? And I think Kyler Murray has every opportunity to do that. Like, people scoff when we put out there that like Kyler Murray is a top 10 quarterback. Like, he beat Justin Herbert last year with a worse team on Monday Night Football. Like, he has the skills to be a top 10 quarterback. Jared Goff rehabilitated his career and should have made a Super Bowl and has been a viable quarterback the last several years with, Dan Campbell. Like, I think it's foolish. The Cardinals cannot afford to pivot off of Kyler Murray without knowing what they have in the next tenure of the guy. And there's the likelihood that you're going to get a top 6 guy right now is just laughable. It's laughable. Yeah. So right. I think I appreciate Warren's analysis, because I think more needs to be said about the deep passing game, because I want the Cardinals, and hopefully they've taken advantage of this offseason. I'm sure they have, because they have Gannon running their franchise. I want them to take the approach with the coaching of their deep passing game that they did with the personnel of their sack unit and their defensive line. The effort that they put in to acquiring Sweat and Walter Nolan and Dalvin Tomlinson and Calais Campbell, take that approach and take it to your offense with the current personnel, and make sure your OC quarterback and skill players understand the task at hand, because that is clearly those 2 units specifically, defensive line, pass rush, and then deep passing game, cost you a playoff spot last year when you were 6-4 and you wet the bed to go 2-5 down the stretch.
Yeah. Kyler Murray faced the toughest schedule a quarterback could face last year. Put up, average numbers. 21 passing touchdowns, the picks, you saw that kind of on the rise, a little bit higher than you're used to seeing with the 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. The lack of running too is a big issue, as you pointed out. Kyler's well aware of that and looking to fix that this upcoming season. He's got like the 5th easiest schedule for quarterbacks. Like, can they really embrace that? Can they take their quarterback and embolden him to take advantage of what he didn't have the luxury of last year, and what's going to be a little bit easier of a schedule throwing the football against? Like that, I think that's going to be key. In can they kind of stack wins enough when they need to, and then really hang on for dear life, or generate some momentum into that treacherous part of their season, to where they can do exactly what they want to do and push themselves into the postseason. But like Kyler Murray along the way, I think style points are going to be important, because you see how he's perceived around the league.
How much style points do the Cardinals get from their tight end room? Where do you rank it amongst the league's best? We take a position preview look at Drew Petzing's Sweet Baby tight end group. That's up next on PHNX Cardinals. What tight ends are to Drew Petzing, Desert Financial is to me and my money. It's my credit union. It should be yours. As an Arizona sports fan, there's no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. It's the only place you can show your team spirit every time you make a purchase with the exclusive debit cards branded with your favorite teams, including the Arizona Cardinals. I rep the AZ debit card. You can too. That's because for more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicating and creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. And again, take advantage right now when you open up a free checking account online. Get $200 in bonuses. I didn't get that. I want $200. Get started right now by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. Right now, hook it up. Savings accounts, checkings, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and more. Level up your financial acumen today with Desert Financial Credit Union.
Some good concerts coming through the Valley of the Sun this summer.
We got
get yourself in the door with Game Time. How about you country music guy, Johnny? How about Morgan Wallen?
What?
Okay.
No, thanks.
You're out on that? No? How about you and
Sabrina Carpenter coming back?
I don't really like him too much.
You guys are not helping me out with this read. How about Katy Perry, July 12th? You can go see Katy Perry.
Oh, geez.
I'll stand by. I thought her halftime during the Super Bowl here, Patriots and Seahawks, was fantastic. Goo Goo Dolls, more your speed. How about July 13th?
Now we're cooking with gas.
Goo Goo Dolls at Arizona Financial. I knew I'd find one. How about the Diamondbacks after the All-Star break, back in town taking on the Cardinals, or you could go see the Merc or whoever it may be. ASU football coming up here soon. You're going to want to get tickets. You're going to want to download the Game Time app. It's the best ticketing app possible. That's going to get you the tickets that you covet for the best price. And you can save even more money by downloading the Game Time app today. Using the code PHNX, get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guarantee. What time is it? It's Game Time.
Good Lord. Goo Goo Dolls right now. Oh, are these two seats together? What do we got here? Man, you may want to wait till the last minute on those Goo Goo Doll tickets.
Regardless of what it may be, as you continue to just crush my game time read, post read, is game time is going to give you the best option.
They are. Goo Goo Dolls, hot ticket in town. Johnny's more of an opera guy. I did watch Wicked on the flight to Maui. I'd give it like a B-. Theater.
Wait,
guy.
What?
Wicked.
How did you parlay Goo Goo Dolls into Wicked?
Somebody said I'm more of an opera guy, and that's kind of a theater guy. Now Bahar's saying I'm more of a Nickelback guy. I would see Nickelback in concert easily. My problem with these concerts is Goo Goo Dolls are trying to charge like they're, Sabrina Come on, Goo Goo Dolls.
It's at a smaller venue. It's at I think Arizona Financial. Yeah, you need to. But Goo Goo Dolls maybe 20 years ago could have played bigger venue.
They do slap.
You like a little name? You like a little what else? What's another Goo Goo Dolls hit?
I'd start singing Slide, Iris.
Yeah.
So many good
ones. Man.
Iris is a good one.
I would see the Goo Goo Dolls.
Give up forever,
Between Goo Goo Doll tickets and WWE tickets, I'm bankrupt, man.
Yeah.
Times are tough.
Money's like, what the hell have you done?
Times are not tough. I guarantee my wife's gonna be like, Goo Goo Dolls were in town. Why didn't we get tickets? I'm like, do you see what Goo Goo Dolls are asking for? Tight end room. It is money. Speaking of a transition there, Drew Petzing and company. We can complain and whine about the deep passing game, and Drew Petzing's like, I'm just gonna tight end even harder. Tip Ryman was added to the group last year.
I'm gonna tight end so hard.
Oh yeah, you want a deep ball? How about a 3-yard out? Tip, get out there. Please no, make it stop. It is we asked for the Cardinals to be competent at tight end, but not like this, Drew. We don't want
sell our soul. Is this we had to give something big in return for this one? Because the position of futility for so many years, ever since they moved to the desert.
Yeah,
that drought is over. As the Cardinals, they do feature, I think, one of the stronger tight end rooms in the league, and it's featured headlined by. We're all McBride's babes. Trey McBride,
Woo!
Big Trey, second highest paid tight end in league history. Massive year, blowing stats out of the water as far as the franchise goes. 139 targets, nearly overtook D-Hop for the most catches in the season by a Cardinal overall with 111. Both of those targets catches. Second in his position, so is yardage. 1,146 yards receiving by Trey McBride last year. Played in 16 in the 17 games. He had to miss one because of concussion protocol. But, coming out party in 2023, unbelievable encore follow-up to that last season, Johnny, and he's the real deal, and I don't see him slowing down at all.
The best player on the Cardinals, the best tight ends, not including Jackie Smith in franchise history. I expect him at this trajectory to overtake Jackie Smith if he keeps this up. I think we're approaching. This is Steve Keim's second, third best draft pick of all time. Like Buda Baker, Honey Badger, Kyler Murray was a given. I mean, Trey's right there. And again, he is the heartbeat of this offense, and he's just a great person, great human being, and a great representative. Like everything you want in a player. We've had a chance to have him on our show a handful of times. Very fortunate that 85 was brought to this franchise, was extended. They didn't screw around with his extension. Austin Ford understood the assignment. And again, I think his yards, receiving yards could go down a tick this year, but you and I expect his touchdowns to explode. I mean,
the main knock on him about the lack of touchdowns is it is dumb. Because it's lack of opportunity in the red zone for Trey, but it's between the 20s where he's been elite. And if you can knock him as far as his lack of activity in the red zone, and I think that they were able to kind of troubleshoot that and should be able to parlay it into some more success this following year. And then overall, I think I love the diversity of this room. And we joke about Petzing, but when you take a look at the positional preview, Trey McBride entrenched as tight end 1. And then you've got Elijah Higgins, who I think a lot of people like. Very similar numbers from year 1 to year 2, but he's a complementary piece at tight end 2. And then Tip Ryman, who's got his own role in this offense, and it's just bulldozing tight end run blocker. And then the rest of these guys, like, can Travis Vokalek hang on throughout another season on the active roster? We got him kind of in a vulnerable spot here. And then you got guys like Josiah DeGuara and Oscar Cardenas, an undrafted rookie free agent, who are going to have to hang on for dear life here. But, they carry 4 tight ends on the roster throughout the year, 3 active on Sunday. Those 3 are accounted for in Trey, Higgy Bear, and Tip.
Tip Ryman, let's see what he can do catching the football this year. We didn't even put Tip's receiving stats on this graphic because they're not worth discussing, because that's just not what he's asked to do. No, I'm not being disrespectful. Yeah. I mean, like, Tip Ryman was a top 100 pick. And the Cardinals, they pulled Monty Ossenford pulled a selfish. And he said, I'm going to overdraft a blocking tight end because it's so prevalent in our offense, even though we need a lot more stuff. But I've earned 4 third-round picks. And he drafted a kid who had 6 catches for 37 yards. And I probably remember all the targets last year.
Yeah, because people blow up your Twitter mentions when he touches the football. I mean, you talk about taking a selfish for money. I mean, it's a selfish for Drew Petzing. Look at this little stat here. I mean, Cardinals 13 personnel usage. The average around the NFL, Johnny, 3.3% as far as 13 personnel. That's 3 tight ends on the field.
Okay.
150 snaps for the Cardinals last season. That's over 10% more than the league average at 14.4%.
It's just too much. Stop. Take it away. It's like it's like somebody trying to quit smoking. It's like, get some nicotine gum, do something different, scale back. You gotta take it away. Take away the PlayStation controller from the 10-year-old. Like, we need the Arizona Cardinals to say, we can't throw the ball deep. We are too run heavy with 13 personnel. We need to go to a different direction as an offense this year. It's just not good enough. And I think Drew Petzing is going to make the changes, because you're not getting rid of Tip Ryman this year, and I think Tip can be effective. I will never argue that pick was a mistake in terms of being overdrafted, because the people that were in our mentions last year, my mentions, talking about, well, he's going to prove you wrong. No, the Cardinals doubled down even harder at 13 personnel on the tight end, and it hampered their offense. It was a crutch, and then the minute you had to nut up and convert a 3rd and 8, guess what? Couldn't do it. But it's like, yeah, I know you can run the ball, Drew, on 1st and 2nd down. Congratulations. When this team turns the ball over and needs to make up 10 to 14 points in a hurry, like a playoff team can do, dink and dunk ain't going to work. Seattle let you do that for 10, 12 play drives. They have no explosive offense. And Tip Ryman, unfortunately, that selection, not him as a person, but that selection emphasizes everything wrong with the Cardinals offense. It just does. And it's a big reason why there was a lot of hype around that pick last year, because what they would bring to the table. Cardinals could already run the ball before Tip Ryman. It's not like he came here and elevated the team to a next level. They were good in 2023. They're good in 2024. What's not good? How about those numbers from Warren Sharp earlier on the deep passing game? So, again, frustrating, but, I mean, I like the unit. Of course, it's a great unit, but it's a tight end unit. Come on, guys.
Right, and that's what, like, when you sit out in your flex, like, hey, we got the best tight end, or one of the best tight end groups. It's like, that's great, especially at the top. But yeah, the usage and trying to kind of justify it. It's like you don't have to. Like, Tip Ryman can, as people are pointing out, can serve as a 6th offensive lineman.
Yeah,
he can do his job. You can also do that through 12 personnel. Mm-hmm. You can do that with 1 less tight end on the field. So you'd like to see that. Like, if you tapered it off and you took, out of 150 offensive play calls where you had 3 tight ends on the field, took one out, like 10, 15, or 20, I'm sure it gives you an extra playmaker on the field that opens up your passing game a little bit.
What's the only saving grace right now? And again, it's not Tip Ryman's fault. I like Tip Ryman. He's a good guy, and he's effective for his role. He's damn effective. He was the 82nd pick in the 2024 draft. As of right now, looking back, there hasn't been a ton of guys that have exploded after that pick. Yeah. Not yet.
Are you looking at Pro Football Reference?
I'm looking at Wikipedia, the 2024 NFL draft, and the Cardinals. I'm sorry, Tip was the 82nd pick.
Yeah.
So between pick 83 to when the Cardinals picked at 104 when they took wasn't it Elijah Jones or Elijah Jones at pick 90. So basically between roughly 83 to pick 90. I don't see anybody that's Roman Wilson, Blake Corum, even going further than that. Jalen McMillan, Adissa Isaac for the Ravens. He's okay. I mean, that was unfortunately for the Cardinals does not look like a great third round to have 4 third-rounders right now.
Like in Monty Ossenfort willing to just bet on a guy that he knows exactly what he's going to get. Saw an elite, trait, and that's a run blocking tight end. But for those who are like, oh, he's just a run blocking tight end now, watch what he evolves into. It's like, no. That's the trait. That's what he's going to do. That's going to be his job.
Louder for the people in the backbone.
Yeah, that's the knock on devaluing a third round pick, a top 100 selection.
We're getting what we were promised. And again, that's why if you're Tip Ryman, like you're doing your job. It's not his fault.
It rounds out the group, the room really well. I mean, that's like if you're going to start to go across the league and say, well, I like, George Kittle in the San Francisco 49ers room. Look at the rest of the room. It's just Kittle and that's it. Where I don't think they have the depth that the Cardinals have. I think Higgins, as far as what he is a converted wide receiver to tight end, the skill or the playmaking ability, and then Tip Ryman with the run blocking and just blocking prowess. I think that it's a great diverse room that you'd be hard pressed to find around the league that matches up with it.
But here's the problem. I'm not getting on a soapbox again.
No, I know the problem. I hear the problem. But as far as it stands now, as we enter into,
it's a really good group.
Yeah.
Conversation over about Tip Ryman. But think about
this is like when I'm getting in a back and forth with my wife and I should just shut up and
no.
You want to get the last word in?
You've never because you and I agree. We're on the same. You and I have not. It's not like the pass rush last year where you loved the current group. You loved them. It's you and I have been on the same page with this pick since they made it.
Yeah, I lie awake at night dreaming of Jesse Lucchetta and what was the one guy?
Right.
Okoro? Yeah,
your lunch buddies.
Long for them.
Think back, like the Cardinals could not run the ball when they had to against Seattle. In Seattle last year, they had a tough time running the football late in that game against the Vikings. They had a hard time running the ball when they needed to in short yardage against the Rams. Let's not act like they have 13 personnel and they can just get 3 to 4 yards whenever they want to. I mean, like they tried to do some short yardage last year with Clayton Tune, and it was a disaster. So, like, Tip Ryman can only do so much as an edge perimeter run blocker. Like, it's such a luxury pick. It just is hard to comprehend. But we are here. Ossenfort earned it. He accumulated all those picks.
One last point about this tight end group, how futile things were for far too long. Just going back to 2010, this was the production from the tight ends, and you see it go way up here. I mean, this is overall. Just you can see on this chart where you were getting sometimes over 600 yards, 700 yards from the group total. But then just what Trey McBride elevates here, 23, 24. You saw it kind of go up a little bit in 2021 when they added Zach Ertz. But Trey McBride took it to another level. The average was just over 645 yards. But if you take out McBride, it's in the 500s.
Pretty good. And again, expected to be pretty damn good here in I
think 18, though, they discounted my boy Ricky Seals-Jones. I think he had a few more yards than that. I think that was just basing off of Jermaine Gresham, who was supposed to be the tight end one in that offense. He had under 100 yards.
We don't talk about 2018 here. We don't talk about that. What about 2025? What does Adam Rank, friend of CHGO Bears, NFL Network, think the Cardinals are going to do? I don't know why Adam Rank's picking the Cardinals win-loss record. Probably doing this for every team in the league. Survey says, what does he think? 8 wins. Like last year. Picking the Cardinals to win 8 wins. Now, here's something I want everybody to keep in mind. The Arizona Cardinals win-loss over-under, okay, in 2023. Does anybody know what it was?
4.
4.5. 4.5. Okay.
Yeah.
They ended up winning how many games? 5 games. Okay. The Arizona Cardinals 2024 over under 6.5. They ended up winning 8 games. This year, the over under is 8.5. So if we're going off of the trajectory of this team, there's a good chance they're going to win 10 games. 9 minimum, 10 games minimum. And so he's got the Arizona Cardinals basically having a disastrous 4-game stretch where they lose to the Colts, Packers, Cowboys, and Seahawks, and then kind of playing 500 football ball the rest of the year.
Yeah, I hate this prediction. It's so bad. When you look, so I watched this video, put myself through it, and week 2 where he's like, I like the Panthers this year. I got the Panthers on the road over the Cardinals there. And then that egregious stretch from the Colts winning a football game, them dropping 4 in a row. That would be tough to stomach if that comes to fruition. I don't like this. Like I don't disagree. Like if you're going to say Cardinals and just give a blanket 8 and 9, prediction, that's fine. But the way he has it playing out, I just don't agree with it really at all.
He has the Arizona Cardinals going 2-2 against the NFC South. If that's the case, then we got big time problems.
Yeah.
2-2 and losing games against, or no, I'm sorry, 3-1. So my mistake. It's got them splitting with San Francisco, splitting with Seattle, getting swept by the LA Rams.
If they go like he has them going in the first 7 weeks, 3-4, this podcast will be in meltdown mode.
No, Bo, at one point, according to this, they're 3-6.
Yeah.
Then we're talking about no, I don't know if they could survive that in terms of like the public perception. Bidwell wouldn't fire people during the year, and Gannon, I don't think Gannon would get fired, but like people will be calling for Jacoby Brissett to start. If Kyler Murray's 3-6, people will be asking, "Where's Jacoby Brissett?" Isn't that that's what would happen?
It's a bleak future in Adam Rank's prediction. It makes me feel glad that I got to tell Adam Rank when the Bears were in town. He passed by me as I was entering State Farm Stadium, and I was like, "Oh man, did you hear about Sweats out for the Bears?" I hadn't heard yet, and I just completely took the wind out of his sails. He's like, "Oh geez, oh man." And then the Cardinals went on to just bludgeon his beloved Bears.
Wouldn't have mattered. It was a laugh.
Yeah, it was awesome.
They had a high school coach. All right, now the Bears are back and they're going to win 15 games. We're winning big time here with all of you. Drop a like on this video. We got super chats to read, but before we do that, I want to remind everybody: become a diehard. GoPHNX.com. Load up on your diehard gear. Bo's repping a tee, a classic tee right now. We got some fun content coming up the rest of this week into next week. And then it's time to train. Training camp, baby. You got your pads, you got your helmet ready to go, got your conditioning. Bo and I might do a conditioning test. We might F around and do that. Why wouldn't we?
What are we going to do? Why?
I think we should go film you and I doing a conditioning test in like an open field.
I'll join.
I don't do cardio. Throwing out the air quotes there, but I'm not a man who dabbles much with cardio. In a bulking phase.
That looks good. You look good. I'm ready to bulk up in overtime. Mew, mew, mew. Meow. It's overtime here.
Overtime.
Thanks for everybody jumping over, watching with one of our many streaming partners. And please consider liking this show, despite where this podcast is headed. Baharo kicking us off, $2. Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield are proof that OC's downfield speed matter. I mean, the Cardinals have had speed before, but they went too heavy on speed, and they didn't have a situational possession receiver either. So Hollywood Brown and Rondale Moore, right? Those times were tough. Christian Kirk.
Yeah, it's not anything I want to relive, but they do have to find somebody that's going to be able to take the top off the defense.
I still contend like the Christian Kirk move. Are we going to be sitting here in hindsight if he plays well for Houston and we're like the Cardinals should have given up a throwaway pick to take on Christian Kirk's salary. Do you think that's a possibility? We could be sitting here and thinking that?
Yeah, if Kirk stays healthy, CJ Stroud throws to slot all the time.
Yeah.
And with Tank Dell coming back, or Tank Dell, he might not play, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not looking good. Our guy Charlie Sinclair, our resident Chargers fan, what game are you guys doing this year? What away game are you guys doing this year? We are going to open the season on the road in New Orleans against the Saints. Our guys over at Bird Gang Travel, led by Tyler, they are setting it up. They're going to get us out there to the Big Easy. We're going to have a blast, a couple days out there in New Orleans, and watch the Cardinals hopefully open up the season with a big dub. And then I think I'm going to be joining Bird Gang and crew on the road in Dallas for Week 9. You got that Monday Night Football game, and then looking at a couple divisional games kind of peppered in between. So I'll be at least, I think, at half the away games this season.
Well, it was leaving me. It's unfortunate. Yeah. No, we're excited about our crew this year, and we're covering a lot of bases. So on the road, we're going to be at Gila doing watch-alongs for away games, and of course, we're pretty confident it'll be me and Britton and Bo in studio at the stadium at home. Just like you've come to know and hopefully love on game day. Pre-halftime and post-game like nobody else. Baharo is back, $2. Kime, Trey could be the next Austin Hooper 2022. Did he really say that? Was that the comp that he gave? Wouldn't surprise me.
So he's got a little bit of a larger shelf life than Austin Hooper. I felt like it was Austin Hooper. Probably be surprised if you look at his career. He had some really good years, but it was a quick, steep fall off for a guy like Hooper. After he signed a big free agent deal, he kind of went by the wayside.
Yeah, he stunk with the Patriots last year. He's never had a year even close to Trey McBride. His best year was 787 yards in 2019, and he cashed in. I
would have thought that he approached at least 1,000, but I guess I would have been wrong.
Trey is just Trey doesn't score enough touchdowns though, because he stinks. Because according to Obama, he's a stinker. Drop a like on this video. Mañana, tomorrow, we got another banger of a show as we continue our position preview. And Bo and I are going to give the answer. Do we think Cody Simon is ready to take over at off-ball linebacker, Bo?
Oh, man, that's one of the biggest questions going into camp, looking at that middle linebacker spot. But tight ends was a little bit one of those easier conversations, right? There's not a lot of questions surrounding that position group. Big-time questions post Kazir White at that spot, off-ball linebackers. Also got some other positions that we'll preview between now and training camp. I mean, it's going to lead you all the way up to that, but got some fun content. Plus more fodder, more slop that you know and love that we consume and force feed to you guys through this the dead season, as they call it in the NFL.
We love to slop it up here. Do it with us every day. PHNX Cardinals live at 4:30, and of course, your in-depth training camp coverage begins in less than 2 weeks. Kicking things off in like 2 weeks. We doing conditioning tests. We doing weigh-ins. We'll have on the field sights and sounds, pressers, and then we'll be locked in for the better part of 6 months on this little fanboy podcast.
The conditioning test is, from what I remember, if it stayed to what it used to be, it should be pretty easy to complete.
Isn't it
it's always shocking to me. Yeah, it's always shocking to me guys that don't pass.
Well, I think you and I need to consider doing some content, running a pacer before the start of the regular season.
Outside?
Yes. Come on. They're doing it outside.
It was 117 degrees today.
Yeah. Welcome to Arizona. I love it. I'm never leaving. Ever. Never leave this podcast. Subscribe to the show here on YouTube. Get us to 50,000 subscribers. The goal is before week 1, when we're at New Orleans, that we are at 50K as a show, as a network. And check out the other podcasts here. We got PHNX Wildcats, PHNX Sun Devils crushing it at Big 12 Media Day. And, of course, we got our Suns crew breaking down everything and anything right now with that disaster of a team. Where the hell's Bradley Beal going? Is he being released? Is he getting extended? Let's just give him more money. Find out what's happening with that, if you can stomach it.
He's being stretched and waived at any point. Apparently, he's going to get $97 million to just go away. Go play for somebody else, Brad, please. Please, will you just go away so he just can move forward? Our guys, PHNX Suns, covering it very well. But look, Johnny, Noah, chat. Everybody have a great rest of your Wednesday night. We're back at it tomorrow, Thursday, PHNX Cardinals. See you then.
We all silly like the mayor.